Hello, I'm going to be recording another video, a short, very short tutorial, this one on how to use VMS. As you see on the screen here, the VitalStim waveform the VitalStim Plus device has two different electrotherapy modes. The first one is VitalStim mode, and I spoke about that one in a previous video, which is really same old VitalStim. No settings can be edited. You can apply it through one channel, 2, 3, or 4 channels, so that's a big improvement over the current handheld. But other than that, no edits are possible. Now, if you want to edit things, you have to go to VMS. In the beginning, this was not allowed by the FDA. Now it is, so that's a good thing, and you should take advantage of it. So let's do it. So I'm going to click on VMS, and as soon as you do, you see this screen appear. This is a collection of 6 different protocols that are pre-saved. Now, I've already got some names in here, and I'll show you later how to actually save something to a protocol. So if you have a certain set of settings that you use a lot, then you can save it. So we're actually going to do an example of that. So at this point, I'm just going to pick any protocol, and I come up with this screen. I now have the gear icon, which I click in order to change the settings. And here are the settings that can be changed. The second button from the left is called channel mode. Second from the top left, channel mode. If I click it, I go from continuous, which is no edits possible. No intervals in the current delivery. It just keeps flowing, which would be a sensory protocol really. That's often used that way. Or if I click again, it goes to co-contract. In co-contract, every channel that you apply to the patient does exactly the same thing. And then the third one is reciprocal. The reciprocal mode I explained in a different video called using delay mode or using the delay feature. So look at that. That will give you information about that. Right now we're going to stick on co-contract. Now in co-contract, as I said, all the stim is the same way, and the stim looks like the rest of these buttons. So the third button at the left is phase duration. Phase duration and frequency in VitalStim are set at these values, 300 microseconds and 80 pulses per second, but here you can change that. So phase duration, for example, I could go lower. I could go down from 300 to, very frequently one use is 140. Now what effect will that have? So the phase duration is, if you imagine the waveform, it goes like this. This is the amount of current flowing from one side to the other for that duration of time, which in VitalStim case is 300 microseconds. And then it comes back. It returns again for another 300 microseconds. Well, that length of time makes the treatment feel aggressive. It feels sharp. It feels a little bit biting, at least with the small electrodes that we use with VitalStim. Here you can change it. You can make that length of time less. So now we've done that with 140. What is the effect of that? It feels much more comfortable. So why would you want to do this? To increase comfort. If a patient can't take the 300 microseconds because it feels too sharp, too biting, lower it. Now, one word of caution here, or not caution, but just be aware. In all the research that is out there that is looking at VitalStim, which is now a lot, it all looked at VitalStim. Almost all the research papers used the VitalStim device and the VitalStim waveform to do the test, to do the trial, meaning they used 300 microseconds. Well, the overwhelming majority of the papers that are coming back are indicating that there is an effect. It is contributing to the therapeutic effect that is observed. That is 300 microseconds. We can lower it, as we've done here, in order to make it more comfortable. We do not know whether that is going to be equally effective. So, just FYI, you're going to have to keep an eye out on that. The next setting is frequency. If I click on frequency, you see the same idea. I can lower it from the high of 80, which is the VitalStim waveform. I can go down to 35, for example. Less than 35 I wouldn't want to do because then the muscles start twitching as opposed to a smooth contraction, but 35 works. Now what is the difference between 35 and 80? 35 is much less strenuous on the muscle because the muscle contracts only 35 times per second as opposed to 80 times per second with the other frequency. So why would you want to do this? If the patient is too fatigable, if fatigue is a real significant issue in the treatment session. So if you're dealing with that, go from 80 down to 35. Otherwise, stay with 80 because of the same reasoning that I just mentioned. The research tells us that this is a good frequency, or at least that it has a certain treatment effect. So now I've lowered it to 140 and 35 pulses per second. And then the last feature here that can be edited is the work rest time. The ramp time is, actually let's tackle that one first real quick. If I click on the ramp, I can increase it between 0 and 3. At 3 seconds, the current is going to take 3 seconds before it finally gets to the top maximum level. This feels very smooth, very easy, not aggressive at all. 3 is too long though. I typically recommend to stay at 1. 1 is long enough to make it comfortable, and it is not that long that you're losing a lot of treatment time. 0 is okay, but it's very abrupt. So the current is not there, and then suddenly, boom, it's there. It takes absolutely no time to get up there. So you use that sometimes if you want to sequence stimulation between here and here. And again, I mentioned that particular feature in the delay video, so look at that video. So for right now, we're going to leave it at 1. And then the last settings is the work and rest time. So what is the work rest time? It is current is going to be on for a certain amount of time, and then it's going to be off. There's going to be a rest period for a certain amount of time. The rule of thumb here is if you practice an exercise where, like the Mendelssohn, for example, where you contract and hold, and then you relax. The rule of thumb is that the rest period, needs to be at least 3 times as long as the on period, the work time. So in this instance, I've got 520. It's a 1:4 ratio, which is more than enough rest. Now, 5 seconds, though, may be a little bit long if I'm sticking with the Mendelssohn example. So let's do a work time of 4 seconds, maybe let's do 3. So the current is going to run in for 1 second, it's going to be on for 3 seconds, and then it's going to go out again for 1 second. Now I want to have a 1:2, let's stick with the 1:4 ratio. 4 times 3 is 12. So I need a rest time of 12 seconds, and now I've got 3 seconds on, 12 seconds off. So now I'm going to name this protocol, and I'm going to name it Mendelssohn, M-E-N, let's do D-E-L, and I'm just going to abbreviate it, Mendel, like that. So now I've got saved that, and these settings I can then pull up at one of these green icons that we just saw. You can just click on that, and then these settings will come back. So now I'm set up. I go back one screen, and I'm here again. And now I'm going to be using 2 channels. I'm going to be using one channel over here, and I'm going to use another channel over here. This is, actually I'm going to use this one. This over the geniohyoid, this over the thyrohyoid, producing good hyolaryngeal excursion. So I need 2 channels. So I'm going to select channels 1 and channel 2. I've already connected these lead wires to some electrodes, so I don't have them on my face, but you get the picture. So these would be connected. Then I go up, click, 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 click. Tell me, patient, when you feel it. Yep, I feel it. Okay, tell me when you feel the grab. It's going to feel a strong grab. Okay, there we are. Yes, boom. Okay, good. Now, if you watch the screen here, it says work 3 seconds. Very soon it will start going down. There you go. Now it's off, 12 seconds. Patient, you're going to feel the current in a moment. When you feel the current, I want you to swallow and hold, hold, hold. Are you ready? There it comes. Ready, set, go. Okay, hold, 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 and relax. There you go. 12 seconds rest. We're going to count. We're going to do 10 repetitions of this. Are you ready? Clear your throat. Do whatever you need to do. If you're in the habit of doing it with a bolus, take a bolus. Ready, set, hold, 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 and relax. And that's it. So you would be doing that however long you needed to do it, whatever your therapeutic approach is, and execute the treatment. Now you have a good on-off cycle in a more traditional exercise therapy approach. So I hope this was helpful. When this is done, you of course press stop, And as you press stop, it asks you to confirm, and then you see the summary screen. This is what we did, and you may want to write that down in your notes. A 312 duty cycle, the frequency used was 35, the phase duration 140. We did this now for the grand total of about a minute. Obviously for the demo it would be much more in the case of a patient session. The mode that we did was co-contract, and we used an average milliamp level in each channel of 4.5 milliamp. And that is it. Okay, look for the next video. Hope you enjoyed it.